Hi everybody. Have you ever imagined that someday you can speak English freely as if it were your mother tongue? You can confidently join and pass any English interview, become a member of any multinational corporation you want, or work as a global businessman, negotiating deals with partners coming from all over the world. If those are what you've ever dreamed of, and if you're still struggling with your English, let me help you. My name's Hưng, author of the 5 Steps to Speak a New Language. In this video series, I'm going to share with you why you can quickly master your English skills and how you can do it right here in Vietnam, and even if you have no talent in foreign language at all. Let me ask you some questions. Have you been worrying about your English for quite long, and sometimes you look back and you found that you have been wasting too much time? Maybe you have several times determined yourself to overcome it, but it seems like you have too many things to do in life and you don't have more than 24 hours a day. And then you keep switching from class to class, searching on those online forums, trying to figure out an effective way of learning English or to look for a good teacher. Until now, you still don't know where to start. Well, you are not alone. Do you know that just a few years ago, I used to spend my whole day just to write a few lines of email in English? I still remember how my back perspired every time I faced a foreigner. Like the day Jonathan visited my office, or the moment Katie in my salsa class asked me how to make a spin. You know how that feels? I was embarrassed, and I blamed myself all the times. And things would have continued that way if there hadn't been an event that happened to me. Like any other day, I went to my office in the morning. As I stepped in, everybody turned to me and said, "Congratulations, Hưng." As I didn't realize what was going on, my boss came at me and said, "Good morning, Hưng. I have a good and a bad news for you. The good news is, Mr. Nam, our best salesperson of the year, has been awarded a sponsorship to study in US, but somehow I couldn't take it, so it now belongs to you, our second best, Mr. Hưng." You know, I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. You know, it was really amazing. And later on, I heard that Nam, my colleague, he had to get married immediately. I didn't know exactly why. Maybe, okay, you guess it. And the bad news is, my boss went on, I've just received an email from the school saying that this course is a sales and marketing course, so it's going to be about the art of communication. So even though we always welcome international students, we won't accept any student who has problems in terms of English communication. Therefore, every international student will have to pass our interview via phone. And you have 5 months from now. Can you take it, Mr. Hưng? My boss asked me. If you were me, what would you do? Would you take it? You know, at that moment, I couldn't think of anything else. I said yes immediately without thinking. And now I think that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. You know, because I decided not to quit. I went to study like crazy, you know, no friends, no phones, no televisions, no hanging out. I did anything I could do. I tried any method I could try to learn, to hear, to understand, to speak. Even in my dreams, I was muttering with myself in English. And 5 months later, I just barely passed the interview. You know, I just barely passed it. But I did it. Yeah, I did it. But until then, I still didn't understand why I could make such a big change within just a few months. And I kept trying to figure out the reasons why some people can speak 4 or 5 languages, while many others struggle for years with their first foreign language. Fortunately, when I was studying in US, I had a chance to attend a course which is called Accelerated Learning Techniques. And during this program, I have found 2 important things. The first thing is that most language learners don't have a strategy. You know, when you do something without a strategy, you would easily fail at your very first attempts. Or maybe you would have to spend much more time and efforts without getting considerable result. And some people do have strategies, but somehow they just don't work. And here comes the second thing. Those strategies don't work because most people don't understand the working mechanism of human brain when it comes to learning a new language. You know, your brain is awesome, but if you don't use it properly, it's not going to work at its best. So that's why I have spent a huge amount of my time doing researches on this issue. I read tons of books. I developed and tested dozens of methods with my friends and my students. It took me more than 4 years, and finally I have cracked the secret code of learning a new language. In the next part, I'm going to share with you the secret that can help you be able to hear, understand, and speak, or even present like a professional native speaker. People will have to turn their heads around to look at you every time you pick up your phone to talk to someone in English. But before we move ahead, I think it's important to talk a little bit about the problems and the obstacles that you might be facing. I guess you could have been learning English for a while, and if I'm not wrong, you may not remember the vocabulary you have learned, no matter how hard you try to memorize them. Even if you have written down the words many times, but it's like there was a hole in your mind through which new words keep leaking out. Or maybe you don't understand what the speaker is saying in the tape, even though you have replayed the tape over and over again until you lost your patience, and then you looked at the transcript. You surprisingly found that you have learned all those words before, but somehow you couldn't hear them. It is frustrating, isn't it? Or you think your pronunciation is not bad, but somehow your audience don't understand what you're talking about. Even worse, you forget everything you have learned when you face a foreigner. Well, it is not your fault. It's simply because you are doing it the old way without knowing that the learning senses have now changed dramatically. You don't have to do it the hard way. The method I'm going to share with you is something different from what you normally heard, because I won't tell you to memorize words, even though I know many language teachers keep telling you to do so. But to me personally, it is quite ineffective. When I was trying to memorize words, I felt like I was chasing them. While I could keep some, I also lost some. I think language is not something we can memorize. Instead, I believe what you need to do is to build a mechanism or system so that you can acquire the vocabulary. In other words, vocabulary will come to you and then will be retained in your mind in a more natural way. I also won't tell you to replay the tape over and over again and force yourself to hear every single word. Instead, you need to build or to develop a sound map in the language processing section within your brain so that you will easily hear and understand what the native speakers say, no matter how fast they speak. I won't tell you to learn and memorize as many words as possible. I know most people recommended you to do so, but I will tell you how to learn the right words. And the last thing I'd like to mention here is that people keep relying on external factors such as native speakers or foreign language environment, hoping that these factors can help them develop their speaking skills. Unfortunately, those may be good supporting factors, but they are not the determinant. In fact, it is not someone or something that can help you be able to speak well. It is you who will help yourself be able to speak. And you can do it in a short period of time if you follow my 3-stage speaking processes. Once you have mastered your listening and speaking skill. Okay, let me repeat this. When I say master, I mean you can talk freely in English with anyone from anywhere, either by phone or face-to-face. So once you've mastered it, tons of opportunities will open in front of you. I'm mentioning this here because I think you better have a big picture about what you're going to get as a global citizen. Let me give you 4 typical cases about how you can play a much bigger game. The first one, if you're seeking for a better job, you don't have to limit your career prospect within your home country, Vietnam. Let me give you an example. This is monster.com, a job-seeking site. It is similar to vietnamworks.com, but it works globally. And there are tons of companies coming here to seek for candidates in Asia, those who will be working at the representative offices or branches. If you look at the job by location right here at the bottom of the page, you will see there are jobs available in Hong Kong, China, Singapore, Vietnam, and so on. Let's say you're interested in sales job, and let's try clicking on the sales at the jobs by functions column. See, there are quite a number of companies that are looking for candidates working for their offices or branches in Vietnam. And you can also look for jobs located in other countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, or Thailand. A few months ago, a friend of mine got a job offered by a company in 500 Fortune list, and he has flown to Singapore to work there. You can think of something similar to that. The second case, if you are a designer or a programmer or a doctor or an expert in any field, you can look for your potential clients internationally through sites like elance.com. You can talk to them and see how much more they are willing to pay you compared to your existing local customers. Do you know that Indian and Singaporean have started to earn really good money on international marketplaces like this? You don't want to be left behind. The third case is if you're running your own business. Oh, great. If you're running your own business, you'll be free to bargain with some supplier in India or negotiate with some customer in US. The business world is now flatter than ever before, and that is great for entrepreneurs like you. As you can see on international trading sites like this, entrepreneurs around the world are looking for partners in Vietnam. And there's a whole bunch of opportunities out there. The last case, and this is what I love the most, you'll have a chance to learn from the best with extremely low cost. Yes, I'm mentioning the best in its pure meaning. Let me show you an example. Let's talk about Brian Tracy, for example. Maybe you do or do not know about him yet, but people keep talking about him as a guru about leadership, management, and selling. He has written more than 40 books consulting business strategy to more than 1,000 companies, big and small. He has founded and run more than 10 enterprises himself. What do you think if you have a chance to attend his online course about business growth strategies? Is it going to be great? Do you know that if your English is good enough to hear and understand what he says, you can immediately sign up to his business growth strategies online course with just a few tens of dollars per month? Well, it is just one example. It is just one example. If you are interested in another area of expertise, you can find dozens of experts in your field out there on the internet. I just want to share with you that learning from the best is really great, and much more other interesting things. But I better stop here, otherwise I'm going to ramble a whole day. In the next video, I'm going to explain more in details about the strategy and the techniques. I'm going to explain why you can quickly master your English in a short period of time, and how you can do it right here in Vietnam. So, thank you for watching my video. Please be free to give me your thoughts and comments below. I really want to know what you're thinking. So I can't wait to see you in the next few days. Stay tuned with your inbox. I'm going to send you the next video soon.